everybody. Welcome to the Stock Car Spectacle. I'm Ian Jortson,
I'm Nick Kinzel.
And I'm Tom Hoblin.
and we are here talking about Texas Motor Speedway. It was quite an exciting weekend down in the Lone Star State. And Tom, you had a hell of a time down there from what I saw.
Yeah, man, we caught the Cup race on Sunday. I was staying in Oklahoma City this weekend. I missed the truck race and the Xfinity race live, but I watched them back, so I'm ready to talk about them. And we drove down to Dallas on Sunday morning, walked into the race basically as the engines were firing, and sat in the sun and had a blast with some fans who had never been to a race before, or one fan who had been to some IndyCar races way, way, way back when. So she was happy to get back there too, but they had a blast. And my friend knew nothing about NASCAR and was leaving saying, "Oh, it's the sights and the smells and the sounds and the excitement. You can bring your own food. Like, it's awesome." Like, she was over the moon. And then we're on the way back, and my other friend's asking, "Oh, how far a drive is it to Kansas City?" Because they want to go see another one. So they're in, man. It was a blast to share that with them and have good friends and share my passion with them and just spend a day at the track. It was great.
Hey, man, there you go. Yeah, it's always fun to bring someone there for their first time at the racetrack. It really opens their eyes and it turns them into a fan. It really does.
For sure. It's one thing to watch on TV, and I tweeted this out. It's like nothing beats being there, being at the track for the race. You could see a snoozer and still find some fun stuff to look at. This was by no means a snoozer, though, and I'm sure we'll get into it.
Yeah. No, that's for sure.
Totally agree. All right, guys. Well, let's start off our show the right way with our diecast of the week. And Nick, what you got for us, buddy?
Oh, yeah. Chase Elliott finally broke the drought this past weekend at Texas. I have one Chase Elliott car in my collection, and it's probably, we've talked about this on the show numerous amounts of times about how the 2014 Napa Nationwide scheme is probably one of my favorites of all time, even though I don't like Chase Elliott. So, yep, I thought I would bust this one out today. This is from 2014. It's the Nationwide Series champion car. I think this was probably one of the Black
Friday
dark
blue?
deals, but yeah,
Or
it
black?
is chrome. It's chrome.
Oh, okay. It almost looks
chrome.
black on my screen here, but
But no, yeah. This scheme, as much as I don't like Chase Elliott, this is one. If there was a Mount Rushmore of paint schemes, I would for sure put this one on here. It's simple, it's beautiful. And I saw this thing under the lights at Chicagoland in 2014, and my God, it was beautiful. So yeah, love the scheme.
Absolutely, man. I mean, yeah, I'm a Chase Elliott hater too, but can't go wrong with that scheme right there. All right, Tom, what you got for us, man?
All right. So, if, as Nick said, if there is a Mount Rushmore of paint schemes, this car will not belong on it. But I had to pick it up for way too much money. The promotional 2024 Texas 164 diecast. I think it's a Chevy. I don't know. It's not going to come out of the box, but it has the state of Texas on the side. It has a 24. It's blue and orange. That's about what we get. But that's what I'm showing off. I gotta buy diecasts at the track if you guys are gonna make me show up a diecast every week. I'm gonna run out pretty soon.
Right? You got to keep up with us. All right, so for my diecast of the week, we're going to Talladega, and you can't talk about Talladega without talking about the man, the myth, the legend, Dale Earnhardt. And so I had to bust out probably my favorite Dale Earnhardt diecast. It's a Chevy Lumina, late 80s, early 90s, probably my favorite Chevy body that has ever ran in NASCAR. Just simple black Intimidator. Can't go wrong, man.
Hell yeah. Fortunately, the American sedan is dying. So we're never gonna get that. We're gonna have the NASCAR crossover series pretty soon. But
I've been saying it for
man,
years, man. We need like an SUV or a crossover series.
when they scrap the Xfinity car after they become idiots and get rid of that car, maybe they'll do it. We'll have trucks, crossovers, and cars. Why not?
Oh, that'll be the fucking day.
Please
All right,
don't.
guys.
Keep the Xfinity car forever. Please.
Yeah, please.
Please.
All right, guys. So our big story from this past week, it was announced that the CW is going to be airing the last 8 Xfinity Series races of the season, taken over from NBC. Really huge. We knew that they were already coming in next year with the new TV deal, along with Turner Brothers, and Amazon as well. So pretty crazy to see. We know that Rick Allen is going to be leaving after Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Lee Diffie is going to be taking over. So a lot of big things happening with the final quarter of this season here.
Yeah, this is your TV. I work in big TV. Like basically, Comcast owns Xfinity. So first of all, this is the Xfinity series is going to be something different next year. We're not going to call it Xfinity, but it's a business decision. NBC's not really interested in producing this. They're going to be coming off the Olympics, and the CW is going to get a head start. Hopefully, that's the one thing I'm worried about is that the CW might have growing pains for the 8 most important races of the Xfinity season. But again, bright side, I can't. That's the only complaint that I could think of. The bright side is that the Xfinity series is accessible to literally anybody who has a television. You can just stick a toothpick in the back of your TV, basically, and you could pick up the CW. So that's really cool, and that's really good for the sport. It's going to get a lot of eyes. The CW's in basically all the households. So that'll be a cool way for them, for a lot of people to watch playoffs if you're not having cable or you cut the cord already.
Yeah, pretty cool. I was all for it when they announced that the CW was coming in. Everyone's able to watch the Xfinity series now.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty fantastic. So yeah,
also
I'm
the
excited.
CW is owned by my company that I work for, but I'm not going to be involved at all. But that's good for me. So please watch the CW because those commercials pay my salary.
There you go, buddy.
And no complaining about commercials anymore. Not on the CW.
All right, guys. Well, let's get into our Texas Motor Speedway review. We started off the weekend with the Truck Series on Friday night, and Nick Sanchez won the pole. He's pretty good at that qualifying thing. He loves running up front, starting up there. And then real early wreck on lap 3 with Tyler Ankrum, Thad Moffitt, and Raja Caruth. Real unfortunate for Raja.
Where was he going?
Man, that's just the Truck Series for you.
Yeah, where was he going? He needed to just park that thing up next to the wall and let everybody pass it, but he just like, nope, turning down into traffic. Like, where were you going? What? Ugh, God.
Also,
awful.
Tough break for
Real
Tyler Ankrum too. He was fast in practice. He put up a banger of a qualifying lap, and then you go in the back, and it's the Truck Series. So
he was our points leader early on in this season. He started off really strong, but this race alone dropped him 3 spots according to NASCAR.com right here. So
wow.
I mean, he's headed in the wrong direction points wise, and this obviously did not help. No stage points.
Yeah.
No race. He probably finished last. Like, ugh, awful.
Yeah, that blows. We get Raja Caruth.
He did finish last.
Yeah. That really blows.
Go from fastest in practice to last in the race, and you don't even get to run like 10 laps, and it's tough.
Yeah, real tough for him. Raja Caruth spins again just by himself. Just turning a bad day to a worse day. And Kyle Busch sweeps the stages. I mean, no surprise there.
Yeah, I mean, fast trucks. All the Spire trucks are fast, and you hope that Raja could have made something happen after how he performed at Vegas. But the word of the weekend was sketchy. Everybody was talking about how this track was sketchy and how it was treacherous. And so
those bumps
some
and
of
the
these
turns.
Yeah, and some of those young guys, especially in the Truck Series, are just figuring it out. And Kyle Busch, a lot of experience, he's got his 21st win or something, or 20th win in all 3 series here. So like he's just been around the track. He knows that it's sketchy. He knows kind of how to navigate it, even if he doesn't feel all that great about it. So winning both stages, not a surprise.
Yep. Lane Riggs, he's having a tough time in that 38 for Front Row Motorsports. He wrecked. And we've seen a lot of speed out of that truck the past few years with Zane Smith being in there. Even Todd Gilliland showed some real strength in that truck, but so far, lots and lots of growing pains with Lane Riggs here.
Yeah, I think we kind of expected that. I mean, he didn't look great at all when he did the college stint last year. He didn't look fast. I think this is just to be a year of tough learning for him because it has not been a good start for him.
I think growing pains is the perfect way to describe it.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll be able to find that speed that they had last year, but I mean, the talent does play a role in it too and whatnot. And if you're not getting as talented of a driver, the growing pains are just going to be exacerbated.
Yeah, definitely. And then if you want to talk about guys who are just crash magnets as of lately, Dean Thompson, Matt Crafton, they'd get together with Grant Enfinger. Just one more before this race ends, man. It's the clown show of the Truck Series.
It's also what the fans want. They want to see these late race restarts. They want to see people run into each other. So,
Yep, exactly. And lo and behold, Kyle Busch wins. I proved you wrong from last week, Tom.
well, he picked first. I didn't
Yeah.
have a choice. He said, "I'm going to pick Kyle Busch to win. Who are you going to pick?" Well, so only one obvious answer, but yeah, no, I mean, good pick. It's a very safe pick. You probably see Kyle Busch entered in a truck race and you put money on it, and if he wins, you'll lose money. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
right.
just like no, it's too obvious. You can't win money on that.
Hmm.
That just looked like one of those typical Kyle Busch truck races. But I mean, the kids kept him honest
Hmm.
for a good chunk of that, and even on that final restart too, they kept him honest. That's all you could really ask for when you got Kyle Busch, who's the he's just the best. He's the best to do it across all three series. So yeah, when he comes down here, you're expecting that he's going to put on an ass whooping like he did here.
Yeah, I guess the only good news that the rest of the field can take out of this, I think he only has one more truck start this year, and then he's done for the year. So he can't, according to the NASCAR rules, he can't come down there anymore. Um, so we won't see too much Kyle Busch in the 7 truck anymore moving forward, but we still get it one or two more times. I can't remember if it's one or two.
Yeah, but what a beautiful Realtree paint scheme.
Mm.
My
Oh yeah,
goodness. And I think that was Realtree's first win in NASCAR as well. They've been a while.
Yeah,
yeah,
as
I
They've
the
been
think so.
around
primary,
for a while with Kevin.
as the
He was
primary.
never able to win with them. And
Hmm.
yeah, pretty cool to see the longtime sponsor finally go to victory lane.
For sure. I wonder if that'll become a theme.
Yeah,
Either longtime sponsors returning or after a long drought or being there for the first time.
yeah. I would love to see some past sponsors come back,
Hmm.
but we could literally talk about that for like hours and hours.
All the sponsors that have left the sport, all the money we're losing out on.
Yep.
Wow.
All right, guys. So let's go to the Xfinity series.
Oh,
Justin Allgaier, he looked fantastic throughout those first two stages and swept them. We know that as of right now, this guy and Junior Motorsports have kind of been checkers or wreckers at this point, and this guy's just racking up points that he needs right now from races. I mean, look at
Yeah.
Phoenix, a race that he could have won, man.
Mm.
Just blows. So yeah, very much needed points that he got right here. 2 playoff points and 20 points. Fantastic.
I feel like a team like Junior Motorsports needs to focus on the positive because it could be real possible for them to be like, oh, look at all the points we lost here, and look at how Sam Mayer's got to play from behind because he wrecked out of the first 4 races or something. And but Allgaier could have had that win in Phoenix. But you got to focus on the positive. I mean, Allgaier moved up another spots in the points. He's 4th right now.
Hmm.
It's not that far out. Sammy Smith is 8th. And then you got to go for a bit farther down the line. You have Brandon Jones in 12th. But then again, Sam Mayer ultimately, if I can jump ahead, gets the win this week. And so he's comfortable again. And so like you got to focus on the positives. It hasn't been the start to the season that you truly wanted, but there have been some glimmers of hope.
Yeah, they have been looking a lot better. And yeah, I think the one that still is just going through a little bit of growing with the new team is Sammy Smith. I mean, the kid
Mm.
looked like a rock star last year with Joe Gibbs Racing. Comes over here. Yeah, a little bit of growing pains, but yeah, we'll see. I think he's going to cap off some wins here pretty soon. I think Junior Motorsports is going in the right direction with Mayer getting this win this weekend.
Oh yeah, and Chevy overall just looks strong, and Junior Motorsports has been around for a long time. They'll get it figured out.
Yeah, absolutely. Jeb Burton, he had an incident. He spun. I mean, that's another guy who's just he's really familiar to that kind of stuff. He never really has a clean race. Justin
yeah.
Allgaier, he gets loose into the turn and spins Leland Honeyman. It's just really unfortunate for Leland. He was just he was staying out of the way for the leaders, and Allgaier just kind of got out of the groove and
Ugh.
spun him out. That really sucked for him.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you're doing everything you can, and the leader gets tight behind you. That's all the arrow of this track, and you get wrecked by the leader. You're like, what on? What do I got to do? I'm already slow. Just go
Right.
around. Go around.
Oh, poor guy. Haley Deegan and Kyle Weatherman get together. That's Haley Deegan's weekly crash update. Brought to you by
Ugh.
Stock Car Spectacle.
Again, not
I think we
not
need to
her
start doing it.
fault.
I think we need to start doing another incident counter like we did with Natalie Decker a few years ago, Nick.
Oh God, nothing tops that. When she was in the '54 truck, oh man, that no one's beating that record.
Can we put an asterisk on the incident counter that these are things that she just kind of gets sucked up into? Like
Yeah.
this happened, and she was checking up fine and just came up from behind her.
Well,
Like it was.
She's just a magnet.
It just sucks. But
you're
it's
not
again,
running.
it's one of those teams where that team you're back in the mess. You're gonna get shit on your face. Like
When
it
you run
sucks.
like shit, you get shit on your face. That's pretty much what happens. So
Yeah.
I just
But
can't wait. I can't wait for Brian Deegan to come out and say like, "Oh yeah, this series we can't learn anything in this series. We need to just keep on moving up." He said that in ARCA. He said that in trucks because she sucked, and now here we are in Xfinity. I can't wait for that one to come out.
But again, she's marketable and she'll keep getting money and support. So
Oh yeah, she will.
maybe she's still in a back marker team. If you put her in an SHR car, see what she can do, then we'll talk. If she's still getting sucked up in crashes running 18th, then we'll in an SHR car, I'll be ready to talk more about this one and blame her for it. But right now I think she's doing the best she can with the equipment she has.
Yeah. I think it's just years of hearing Brian Deegan's
Yeah,
bullshit. It's just
it's a
kind of
new
tainted
excuse.
it.
Right. I mean, and again,
Listen.
we did see her in Thor Sport equipment last year, and we saw her running middle of the road. But we know this sport, the money talks as much as the talent does.
Yep.
So if she gets the money to get put in one of those cars and says, "Hey, Tony Stewart, I got $9 million from Ford and Monster. Can I race for you?" We already know Tony Stewart's going to be like, "Hell yeah, brother, come on in." So,
the next
and
Danica,
again,
can't wait.
then we'll talk. And if they want to rush her into Cup Series like they did with Danica, they can rush her into Cup Series. That's on them. If they're going to pay for it, that's how the
Money
series
talks.
goes. I mean, again, you look at Stewart Haas Racing. If they're not going to sell charters, they got Ryan Preece running a Haas automation car every single week. That car's not sponsored.
Nope.
If Brian Deegan wants to say, "Hey, I got Monster to give us $20 million to go Cup racing," Tony Stewart's gonna be like, "Cool.
See you, buddy."
I don't have to pay for a car out of my pocket." Yeah, yeah. No, it's a scary thought because again, she's not ready for Cup.
Sign me up for that and let me just see the wrecks every single week. I can't wait.
Oh man. Alrighty, guys. Well, Ryan Sieg, he was having a hell of a run at the end of this race, but
that restart before we get to the finish, the restart where he passes like 6 cars, he just keeps moving up. That was so impressive, especially for that equipment that he's in. He probably built that car in his backyard, and he's just run up there passing the junior motorsports and the RCRs and the SHRs and the colleagues. Like he's just flying past them. I didn't know where it came from. I thought he had a NOS bottle or something.
Yeah, it was absolutely.
It was so
awesome
impressive.
Yep, love to see that for a small team owner and driver like himself. But man, he was cruising along to a victory, but about 4 laps ago, you can kind of tell that the car was getting tight. He was kind of losing the tires, and he was running up a little bit higher than that preferred lane. And Sam Mayer, lap by lap, he was catching him. He was gaining like half a second every single lap, and by the end of it, caught him. But this led up to one hell of a photo finish. What was it? 2/1000ths of a second. It was like the second closest finish in Xfinity Series.
Yeah, probably about this much.
Yeah,
probably
absolutely insane. So I mean, hats off to Sam Mayer for making it work. But man, oh man, you gotta feel it for Ryan Sieg. He's been in here. He's been in the Xfinity Series for over 12 years, and
as long as I can remember.
no wins to show for it. He's been so close. This is the closest he's been. Goddamn. But man, it's coming. It's coming because this team
Uh,
every single year they just keep on
Mm-hmm.
improving and improving and improving.
Mm-hmm. And
yeah,
like
it's heartbreaking.
they say like if you got a 5 second lead, you don't have to win by 5 seconds. And I just he probably had a little bit of that mentality, but he's not used to running up at the front. He's not used to blocking those moves and whatnot, and he just gave up a little too much right at the end. Um, it probably shouldn't have even been as close as it was because Sam Mayer is fully clear
Yeah.
off of two. But and it's not like maybe people are rooting against Sam Mayer. I don't know how you root against Sam Mayer after what he's gone through already this season, but man, it seemed like everybody really wanted Ryan Sieg to pull this one
Oh
off.
yeah.
And again, it's nothing for me, it was nothing against Sam Mayer. It's like, oh, it just would have been a cooler story, but it was still a fantastic finish.
How
Yeah.
about that for Sam Mayer? The disastrous start of the season that he's had, and now he can just cruise for up until playoff time. He locked himself in. That's just how important and crucial that
Still gotta claw away those
winning.
points though.
Yeah.
I'll claw away the points,
Mhm.
but he's gonna breathe a whole
Right.
lot easier now.
He
But
feels
yeah,
better for sure.
what a
Mhm.
heartbreak for Ryan Sieg. He's been oh so close, oh so many times. But I could say the best news probably for him is that now we're going to a track like Talladega where he's very good at these super speedways. So he can just bounce off of the second place finish and go out there and go do it again next week. So I think that's the best thing for him right now. But damn, he was so close. But also I want to say these Xfinity cars, this Xfinity series, they just week after week we just keep saying it. They put on the best racing, and we saw it here.
Even at a shitty track like
They
Texas, man.
made a track. They made a track like Texas, and they put on a banger. And I thought I would never say those words about Texas Motor Speedway, and they raced it clean. They raced it clean, and it was exciting. And yeah, I love the Xfinity series. I wish these cars were our Cup cars. I will say that every single day. I wish that these Xfinity cars were the Cup cars because there's no reason that your lower series should be putting on better races than what we're getting at the top level of NASCAR.
Yep. Well said.
Yeah, I mean we've talked about this before. The disparity in the cars come from these teams building them themselves. And some teams are better than others. And that's just how this series has gone. In the Cup Series, you got these kit cars and everybody's putting them together and they're so close together. It's just trying to explain that one to my friends at the race. I was like, well, they're all driving the same car, but they're all different. So passing's going to be hard. Plus this track is it looks really wide, but it's not. Man, that was a struggle. We're walking to the track. They're like, so what's this race going to be like? I was like,
Yeah.
I
don't
don't know.
for Ryan Sieg though, going back real quick, it's another one where you got to look at the positives and whatnot. He's seen the highs and lows of the sport. You say 12 years in the Xfinity series, they're building their own cars, they're doing their own stuff. This second place finish is a really strong finish for them. And yeah, second sucks. Second by less than 100th of a second sucks probably worse. But it's second place in a very competitive Xfinity series where you haven't been competitive for a very long time. So as hard as it is, another one who has to focus on the positives for much different reasons than I explained for junior motorsports earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the team got their first win last season with Eric Almirola. Like I said a few minutes ago, they've been improving every single year since they've been around. And yeah, Talladega's coming up, and they can definitely go out there and get a win if they stay clean and come up in the front at the end. So yeah, good things coming for Ryan Sieg Racing. All right, boys. So let's move over to the chaotic Cup Series race. We didn't think that we were going to be getting this kind of banger at Texas Motor Speedway, but damn.
I mean, I was sitting right at the entrance of pit road. I didn't pick the tickets. Again, going to this race wasn't my idea. My friend was like, hey, you're going to be in town. Dallas is close. Let's go. And I'd be like, oh my goodness. Hell yeah. Like 200% yes.
Oh, yeah.
And she picked the seats. I just paid her for a ticket. I didn't know where we were sitting until we walked in the stadium. And man, it was a great spot to sit.
Yeah,
It
absolutely.
was
Looks like
great.
you guys were
The
down pretty close to the cars too.
I was right at the entrance pit road. I mean, Jimmy Johnson ended up right in my lap. Michael McDowell ended up right in my lap. The Alex Bowman, who crashed? Was that Michael McDowell's crash
The one with Bowman.
with Bowman?
That was
Yeah.
Bell and Nemechek.
Oh, that's right. Bell crashed, and we were all looking at Bell, and then you turn back and you see Nemechek running into Bowman. You're like, oh my god! It was so exciting to sit in the exit of those turns. I mean, it was exit of two, exit of four that were really just going nuts all day.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I'm sure.
and yeah, it seemed like the exit of two was usually a result of two guys getting into each other, and the exit of four was a guy trying to take too much over those bumps. So
Yep.
it was a tale of two different sides of the racetrack, as this track has come to be.
Yeah, definitely, man. Poor Jimmy Johnson started off this race right where he's left off with his legacy run, spinning. I mean,
Hey, he
I
only did it once.
honestly, he
He
only
only
did it
did it once,
once,
baby.
but damn, Jimmy Johnson, he is not that guy anymore. It sucks to
He
say.
just he needs to
He
give it up. I know why he's doing it, but he needs to give it up. He's just it's so painful
You
to
just
go
want
out
Trevor
here and
Bayne in
watch.
that 84. That's why.
Oh, yeah, maybe, but no. Every single time he's jumped in this car, it's just he hasn't looked competitive. It just has not been good. It's painful to watch, and I don't like Jimmy Johnson, but goddamn, 7-time champion, he can't figure this shit out.
Well, he's not doing it every week, and like it's his team, it's his money. He's already in the Hall of Fame. He's already won 7 championships. I understand the argument of people like he's ruining his legacy, but I was like, no, he's not. Let the dude have fun. He's done his time. He's done his thing, and like if he wants to go out here and try to learn this car, I mean, we watched him do it in IndyCar and finish last almost every time,
Yeah.
and he's gonna do it with this Cup car. These Cup cars are so much different. He said it himself. He's like, I've been driving. I drove the Gen 6, the Gen 4, the Gen 5, all the same way off the right rear. This is completely different, and he wants to figure it out. But again, he's past his prime, obviously, and he's not doing it every week. So, but he's not hurting anybody. I
Well,
mean,
he
I guess
might.
he could hurt somebody, but like it's his money and his time, and if he wants to do it every once in a while, I don't have an issue with it. I don't think it
Always,
tarnishes his legacy whatsoever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
is
think
his
it
average
tarnishes his
finish
legacy, but
is
I
his
would just say
average
it's just
finish
funny
going
to
to be
watch.
different? Yeah, like it's gonna bring that up quite a bit. Like this again, congrats to him on his first lead lap finish of the next gen of his next gens. Like that sucks. And like again, Ryan Blaney was getting lucky dogs at the end of this race from 9 laps down. Nobody was a lap down except
Yeah.
Blaney. So like, yeah, he was gonna finish on the lead lap. But yeah, I don't say he needs to hang it up. Like let him be what he wants to be. It's just like, yeah, grandpa, you do you, man. Good job. You're gonna die
hey,
soon. Like no,
if he
It's
wants,
gonna be
if
like
he wants to
Morgan
keep,
Shepherd one day.
if, if he wants to keep paying his fab shop, by all means, go for it. But man, it's brutal every time that guy steps in a car now.
Oh man, so Kyle Larson wins stage one, and then there came the incident with Bell, Nemechek, and Alex Bowman. Rough for Christopher Bell. He had a ton of damage on his car, but he was able
ugh.
to come back on the lead lap. He running top 20.
Every time that car came, like the on restarts, the field would come around, and then Bell would come around as he was coming off the pits and like trying to fix his car. The crowd would go nuts and be like,
Oh yeah.
"Yeah!" That because that fender was sticking up in the air, his other fender was off, and like again, nobody was a lap down at the end of this. Bell finished well for
hmm
all things considered. So, I mean, that shows the point though, where you fix the car as best you can and just go turn laps. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. You might get a
Mhm.
million cautions like we did with this race.
But like again, Nemechek, Bowman, Bowman. This was a telling wreck for Bowman. And again, you wonder if he's still feeling some aftershocks, if you will, of his back injury from last year.
hmm
But then Nemechek, man, just hit the brakes. Just stop. Like
Just he
Bowman's day
drives
did
like an
not have to
idiot.
end there. Yeah,
No,
it
it
was
didn't.
really bad. It was a bad look for him to spin out, but his day did not have to end. And
No.
and that you feel for him in that sense. He's not going to get better if he's not running on the track.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. He's just gonna
Mhm.
keep getting outshined by his Hendrick teammates.
Yeah, and his teammates are out there contesting for wins. So,
Yeah,
and
they're
he's
all winning
sitting
this year except for him.
he's sitting in the garage, and that sucks. That's just it. And again, you feel for him because, like, yeah, he's obviously underperforming his teammates, but it's not going to get any better if he can't get on the track to get better.
Nick's like, I'm loving the
yeah,
misery of
I'm not
Alex
feeling
Bowman.
for him. I
Because you
gotta
want Trevor
say,
Bayne to
hands
go to the
down.
48.
Yep,
He wants
that's what.
Trevor
No,
Bayne in any cup car.
I
Doesn't
just
matter if it's a
want.
BJ McLeod prepared car.
Why not? But no, I for one I don't feel for him. That's just been the story of Alex Bowman. He's always getting outperformed by his teammates, but when you got Ally on your side, ooh, yeah,
Yeah, but
that's that exact.
pre-injury, Bowman was so consistent. And again, Bowman
I wouldn't
reminds me
say he
more
was
of
consistent. I would say he had like
No,
2, 3 wins a year,
he
and then
he
besides that,
was
he was
good for
like
two.
down.
no, but again, like he reminds me of how Blaney runs. Where like Blaney knows he's not going to win every week, but he knows he can finish 8th every week. And that's how Bowman would always start the year, the first 10, 12 races, leading the points.
Yeah.
So, like,
I don't know.
again, I don't think just because he's winning and just because he's not winning and not leading laps, I don't know if it's time to dump Bowman yet,
I
but
don't
he
know.
needs to show some more improvement than he is
It's
showing.
just not the
Mhm.
winning aspect. He's just not running up front. They're the top 10 numbers from the past 3 seasons are they're low. I know that for sure. The 2020 season where he rattled off like two wins or something like that early in
It
the
was
year.
like
He
two
looked
or
good
three.
then.
Yeah.
It was like 2 or 3, and then I was like,
Hmm.
okay, he's finally starting to do something. And when we came back from COVID, and gone, gone for, over with. And so, yeah, it's not just the matter of he's not winning; he's just not getting the most out of what a Hendrick car should be getting. He's not running top 10. He should be running top 10 in a Hendrick car. That's just how I feel. They're stout, and he's just not doing it.
Yeah.
So that's me.
Yeah. I agree. And he took out your boy when we were at Martinsville too. So
Yeah, and he's a fucking hack. So yeah.
I still, oh man, that's probably one of my favorite race memories of all time was just seeing fucking Denny Hamlin fucking brake check down fucking front stretch and just pull right in front of
Oh
Oh,
Bowman. It's
man,
like, yes, this is amazing. I
oh
the
my
love
day
goodness!
chaos.
the day
Is
he
that the
really
day that Denny
solidified.
became the villain? Is that the
Oh,
Yep.
day?
I think he became the villain in
Mm,
17 when he dumped Elliott, but
Well, yeah.
that moment right there really solidified it.
I
There,
mean,
we
again,
fucking hate this guy.
Kyle leaving Gibbs and Kyle not being competitive anymore helps Denny be the villain a lot.
yeah.
But
Now that Kyle's in a Chevy.
mhm. But again, I think that show of force against Bowman at Martinsville on the front stretch was a big notch in that story
Oh
that way.
yeah,
Yep.
I love it. Oh,
Absolutely.
James.
So then your boy Kyle Busch, he had some issues. What was that with
He
Hocevar there?
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Watching Kyle in the beginning of this race, man,
that was
you'd come around and
brutal.
he'd be in front of the car and then he'd be behind the car and he's like one of the last 5 cars coming around with the pack each time. And you're like, please do something. You're running behind Austin Dillon. Like Austin Dillon's in the top 20 and you're back in the top 30. Like, it was unfortunate to watch the beginning of this race. It was just you couldn't pass from deep in the field. You couldn't move up.
Nope, not at all. We had Josh Berry spinning, him having a pretty bad day. I'm pretty sure he spun twice
He got
throughout this race.
I feel like the first incident caused the second incident. He probably damaged his car, and then that's what
Hmm.
caused the second one. But the first one wasn't even his fault. I think somebody cut across his nose or something. He had to react and just couldn't gather it.
Yeah,
And
that's
again, that
right.
was one of those turn two incidents where it was two guys getting together versus at least it wasn't one of the turn four incidents where he just lost it.
Hmm. Yeah, coming out of turn two, man, that is real treacherous because you're
Hmm.
sliding up that track, and if you're up high, you're kind of sliding like
Yeah.
how we saw with the Byron and Chastain incident.
But I mean, again, it was always people coming together. Every incident over on that side of the track. I mean,
Hmm.
all the spins late over that way were cars trying to take up the same real estate.
Yeah. All right, we had Michael McDowell wrecking, like you mentioned earlier, Tom.
Mhm.
Ross Chastain won stage two. And then we had the Chase Briscoe and Bubba Wallace incident. Um, Stewart Haas Racing, they're just kind of staying in some trouble throughout this race. Josh Berry spun, Briscoe and Bubba, and then we got Ryan Preece giving Ryan Blaney the bumper
Ugh.
into turn one. That was real ugly. Like, dude,
Yeah.
use your brakes, buddy.
My friends went to buy some merch and they picked some Blaney merch. They're like, "Oh, Blaney's cool," and they come back and they see Blaney's car wrecked. They're like, "What happened?" And we couldn't tell. We couldn't tell
Yeah.
at the track really what happened until we saw social media afterwards. But I was like, "It's okay. Blaney was a good choice. He's a good guy." But I guess Blaney said either yesterday or today that he had roughed up Priest the lap before, so maybe he had it coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is interesting, I guess. But
Well, yeah. I mean, Ryan Blaney tells it how it is. He ain't gonna
for
stir
sure,
up shit if there ain't any shit to stir up.
for sure.
All right, so then we had Larson and Zane Smith colliding together. What was that up in turn two? And Larson's day went from really good to real bad.
Yeah,
And he had the tire come off on pit road, so he's gonna have two
that was
crew members ejected for a few races.
again. I was sitting at pit entrance, and I swear I missed a round of pit stops because he ran like. And I look back and watch the race. He ran like 15 laps on this wheel that was not attached to his car.
Hmm.
I don't understand how it happened. And Fox never went back. I watched the pit stop. There was the early caution in stage two, and there was a round of pit stops where people came down and took right side tires. And you can see on the replay or just live during the race, but I knew what I was looking for. That tire was never tight, and they never said anything about it. And then he goes out there and he runs 20 laps, and then the next caution comes out, and the wheel's off.
Yeah.
And again at the track, I was like, he didn't just pit. He was leading
Hmm.
a long time, and he was leaving the field behind in a short amount of time. He was like 2 seconds ahead of the field or something, and then under the car, it was the wackiest thing I've ever seen.
Kevin Harvick said it best. Crappy ass parts.
It's just, I mean, we've seen this happen with the next gen car. It's just, it's weird how many different ways we see the same thing happen.
Yeah.
And this one was probably the most obscure, with him running and running well for so long. I mean, again, Denny barely at Darlington last year, barely just short on the loose wheel, and he knew immediately that the car was running different. How did Larson not feel anything like this?
Right.
This is
Yeah.
whack. Maybe Larson truly is the alien they say he is.
Who
It's
knows?
like,
The
man,
guy can drive 20 laps in the
yeah,
lead with a loose tire.
with three wheels on the car. Like,
Yeah.
that's
Holy shit.
it was just wacky.
And then, boy, oh boy, coming for that overtime restart. Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott running for the lead. Denny Hamlin just gets the air taken off from the 9 and spins and wrecks. Says nothing that Chase did, nothing he did wrong. Just tried to get in front of that 11,
No.
and Denny just, yeah, got the air
I
taken
mean,
off
they
from
all
him and
know the
wrecked.
bumps were there on the track. They all know
Yep.
the bumps were there, and Denny said it himself. I mean, he was pushing for it.
I mean, that's what you have to do. It's a place that's so tough to pass. That's what you have to do. I mean, it just
But
sucks. We saw that a lot of times in this race where you're getting those bumps wrong, you're going for a spin.
Yep.
I feel like we lose the bigger picture a lot, though. I mean, in the broadcast, I literally just finished it before I signed on with you guys tonight. But in the broadcast, in that moment, and again, like they're reacting to it in the moment, so like I'll give them that, and I have the hindsight of watching it again. But Kevin Harvick says, "What do you have to lose?" Well, you look at it, and then he goes from second to 32nd.
Yeah.
And he loses 30 points. That's what you have to lose.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like in this era of winning you're in and winning is all that matters, we lose the art of a consistent season and whatnot. And I feel like this might be Denny's biggest problem in his career, because he's raced a lot of his career in this points era or variations of this points era, is that yeah, he'll go for it. He'll get 60 wins eventually, but he won't win a championship because he doesn't believe in stringing a season together, and he can't see the bigger picture in the moment. He should.
Well,
It's hard. Obviously, it would be hard in the moment to recognize, but you got to think about it in the sense that like, oh, well, this is Texas and it's hard to pass and there's those bumps in that corner and I could just settle in here and aero block third place and come away with 30 more points.
Yeah.
So again,
I
if
am
Denny
not a great-
finishes,
If it's right in front of you, it's really hard to ignore it.
if Denny
Not a great
finishes second,
last-
though, he's the points leader.
It's not been a great last 2 weeks because last week at Martinsville we give up a top 5 finish to go pit, and why I don't understand. I still don't
Yeah,
understand
that was a
that's-
head
that at
scratcher.
all. That was a
Mhm.
head scratcher because you're only gonna have X amount of laps left in Martinsville. You can't pass for shit there in a short amount of time. So he gave up a top 5 last week doing that, and he didn't even finish in the top 10 last week. So he gave all that up, and then this is just that turn 4 that played that was gathering a lot of cars. So
The crowd
It is what it
went
is.
absolutely insane.
oh, I'm sure I'm sure
It was wild. And the storylines, I was trying to explain to my friends there, as like the storylines were so good because those 4 drivers all had different reasons to maybe stir up some stuff and whatnot. And it would have been hilarious to see all of the Chase fans go home sad after their Chase guy got so close and whatnot. But they went home extra happy because Denny
Yeah.
wrecked in the process of a Chase win. But like, dude, I collapsed in my seat, man, when it happened. It was just all the emotion was coming out, and it was crazy. The energy was nuts there all day.
That's great to hear.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so then after that, we get another overtime restart, and Chase Elliott zooms for the lead. Coming out of turn 2, William Byron and Ross Chastain come together. I look at it, I think that's just a racing incident. I don't think William Byron meant to do anything. I don't think Ross Chastain meant to block him. They were just looking for the same real estate, and they were there at the same time. So really unfortunate for Ross Chastain. He was looking for second place, wrecked out. But Chase Elliott, victorious, snaps a 42 race winless streak. That was his first top 5 in a next gen car at 1.5 miles, which is
my
absolutely
God.
insane. But yeah, the guy is finally in the rhythm. We've seen it for the past few weeks that he's hungry for a win. He's been real close, and now he finally did
Right,
it at a
and-
track that he's pretty good at.
And it's not a fluke win.
Nope.
Like he's 4th in points with the win. Like he's up there already. And that's why I said last week on the show, on the preview show, is like Chase is coming, and if it's not this week, it's soon. Because he's back and he's consistent, and I still don't understand how he's the most popular driver, because they're like, Chase is going to be full of emotion out of it. And he gets out of the car and you're like, how excited
Wow.
are you? He's like,
God,
yeah, I really like this. This was cool. Dude, come
that's
on.
the worst.
But again,
that's
like
the
Chase
worst
was
part
coming
about him.
back, and he's ready to go, and he's ready to put all this slump behind him. He's ready to put down his heart isn't in it narrative behind him. He's gonna go out there. He races for Hendrick Motorsports. His heart's in it for sure. I'll guarantee you that.
Yeah,
It's
you
about
hope so,
time.
because it
Yeah,
doesn't really
that's-
seem like it.
That's crazy that this is his first top 5 in the next gen car in 1.5 miles, and he goes out and wins it. I mean, it's about time. Yeah, he has been on a roll lately, but it's been ever since last year was just such a shit year for him with the leg injury and then the suspension. Just could not get into a rhythm, and he did not look good at all. And then finally this year he's starting to string it back together. So that could be scary going forward here. Now that he's got one, and that the team's running where they should be running, is just a watch out scenario. It very well could be. And now we're
Momentum's
going.
a very real thing.
Yep.
Now we're going to Talladega. Chase Elliott's good at Talladega, so they can just keep riding the high momentum here, and this could be very scary.
Yeah, I mean, you see these guys win one, and they'll pop off 2 or 3 in the next
Mhm.
couple of races and whatnot. And
Yep.
then
Elliott's
who's
that
leading the
kind of
points
guy.
and whatnot. Yeah, and that's we've kind of seen Elliott, not to call him streaky, but he's been a bit streaky. I mean, you see him, you win 3 or 4 times a season in pretty close succession sometimes. So
Yeah, that emotion, the lack of emotion, that just drives me crazy.
Dude,
How people
You would think it's
how
Kyle
people
Busch
just,
winning a truck series race.
how
Like,
people
what the
just
hell?
bow down to this guy as, yep, he's the best, he's the most popular driver. He was literally the most boring. Oh my
I
god!
want a side by side as I was watching his interview on the replay of the race. I want a side by side of Chase Elliott winning a race versus AJ Allmendinger winning a Cup race because the contrast is so ridiculous.
Oh yeah, dude, you got AJ screaming at the top of his lungs.
Oh
He's
my
giving
goodness.
everybody a big old kiss, and then here's Chase
Yeah.
like, yeah, that was pretty
but
cool. Car drove well.
again, Chase, it's just the type of person Chase is. I mean, you see him, he lives down in Georgia alone. He flies to and from the racetracks alone. He's not a guy with a blow off valve. Like, he's just very level headed all the time, which is good for the team and good for the driver. It just, me personally, I'm not drawn to that, and I just don't understand how so many people are. But I'm happy for the people that are happy. That's great and whatnot. And if you have a basket case who's just exploding with emotions all the time, you're gonna have these roller coasters of stuff. And I think that's what's so good about him. And Chase respects the sport and the history of the sport. He's talking about the history that his dad went through in with Alan Quickie and
Yeah, he did
Hooters
the
and how
Polish
long they've been a
victory
part of
lap
it.
for Allen.
Yeah, and exactly like again, this argument that Chase is hard isn't in it, man. It's bullshit. It's ridiculous. And like, yeah, I don't understand the fandom for it, but that doesn't mean you're not allowed to be a Chase fan. You know, like, it's fun to jar and throw elbows every once in a while, and be like, elbow the ribs and be like, you're a Chase fan, you suck. But like, it's not real. None of it's real.
This was Hooters' first win since Allen, right?
31 years.
So
31 years.
Very special day
Right.
for all of them involved there. So yeah,
Yeah.
respect
Chase
to him for
Elliott's
doing.
never won with Hooters.
No.
That's crazy. As long as they've been a sponsor,
No.
yeah.
Again, it was like the Hooters
What?
curse, the McDonald's curse. Like, again,
Huh.
McDonald's didn't win for 20-something years until Bubba did it. I mean, Hooters has been on the car, but not the primary.
Yeah, right. No, I'm just
Yeah.
after all his wins, he's never won it with Hooters.
No.
That's crazy to think about.
But he won with that. His first win was at Watkins Glen with that Sun Energy car. I still love that car.
That paint scheme is
With the
beautiful.
orange wheels, man. Like, that's dope.
Yeah, dude. That and his like Mountain Dew car that he ran at
The
Kansas.
Dew
Dew
car
was
at
so
Kansas
good.
was beautiful.
And now he drives for
Damn.
Coke.
Yep.
Whatever.
Well, at least his boy RJ can support his driver now. Tom, I hope you know who we're talking
I have
about.
no clue what that is, but I'm just gonna smile
Okay,
and wave.
and you go on
smile
TikTok
and wave.
after the show. Go on TikTok and look up RJ Rogers. You'll have
I'm a
you'll have a
boomer
good time.
and don't have TikTok.
Well, then I'm gonna send you some good stuff. Alrighty, guys. Well, I think that's a pretty good spot to end our Texas review show. You guys got anything else to add?
I just want to do a quick note about the facility, man. SMI needs help, and we know they're getting billions of dollars from these TV contracts and whatnot. And like, I took a picture of a sign that had for free Wi-Fi for the fans and whatnot. I couldn't connect to it. It was non-existent. And they took out the scoring pylon at the end of pit road. And so your only reference to the race to follow was Big Haas that showed 8 cars at a time. So you could never look up and see who was running where. And there was no internet connection for me to get to the NASCAR app or to get to Twitter to figure out some other storylines that I was trying to figure out. And it was kind of a frustrating experience for that. And I would have been completely lost if I didn't have the scanner with PRN running in it. Like, it was not great. And like the concessions were fairly priced, but the food I got a Texas dog, and it was like, oh, the hot dog topped with like brisket. And it was like,
Was it gray?
The hot dog was fine, but the bun was garbage, and it looked like they just dropped a bunch of SpaghettiOs on the top of it. Like, it was just
I remember.
It's just like, the facility was fine, but we know they're getting so much money and they're taking things away from the fans, and that was really frustrating.
I just remember going to Talladega.
NASCAR's investing in their tracks, and SMI is not, and it's very obvious.
I just remember going to Talladega and I got a gray hot dog, and I was like, oh.
Hey, that's a NASCAR track though, man. Like,
dude, nothing beats when you got the fucking chicken tenders out of the freaking
coming
drawer.
out of the fucking drawer. Fuck you, Iowa Speedway, for that. I had to order chicken tender and fried, and this bitch fucking opens a drawer and hands it to me.
Like, again, I ran to the bathroom and concessions and the merch stand during stage 1, and you can hardly hear the audio on the concourse. There's no TVs, so you can't see anything. Like it's just they could be doing so much better with a tiny bit of investment. And that's a
Yeah, you'd
huge
be
facility.
thinking, man, if they had some money rolling their way, they could really do something nice with those
You
tracks.
wonder if they have money. But
Yeah.
like it was a frustrating experience. And like again, my most recently I went to Michigan, which is a NASCAR track, and that was great. And
Hmm.
they had good connections, and they had info for you, and the street race was its own thing. Who knows how that'll be again this year. But and I went to again, we went to Talladega in the fall, and like again, the facility was pretty freaking awesome for what it was and whatnot. And that's a huge thing. And it's just like there's a difference.
Yep.
There's a difference, and it's noticeable.
Yep. So we'll leave that for Marcus Smith to watch if he ever listens in.
Hey, Marcus, you made it this far.
That's right.
I'm so surprised you're not doing anything else with your time.
It's got to watch those bastards. Alrighty, guys. Well, that will end it for us here at the Stock Car Spectacle. If you haven't yet, make sure to like our video and subscribe to our channel, and you can check us out on Twitter and Instagram. So for the Stock Car Spectacle, I'm Ian Jordan.
I'm Nick Hensel.
And I'm Texas Tom.
And we'll see you next time. Hey everybody, welcome to the Stock Car Spectacle. I'm Ian Jordan.
I'm Nick Hensel.
And I'm Tom Hopland.
And we got Talladega this weekend, one of my favorite weekends of the year, my favorite track on the circuit. We got the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series both lining up this weekend for a run around the 2.66 mile track. So guys, how are we feeling going into Dega?
Oof. Gonna be a crazy one.
Yep.
It's a shame the
Talladega.
Xfinity Series doesn't run here twice a year. It's a shame. It's a damn shame.
It really is, especially for the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, guys, we got the Xfinity Series kicking off the weekend for us. We got the Ag Pro 300 mile race, 113 laps. Stages 1 and 2 will be 25 laps each, and the final will be 63 laps. Last year's winner was Jeb Burton.
Yeah.
He could really use one of those right now. He has not been having that good of a year. This is one of the tracks where he can win at. He's pretty decent at these super speedways.
Jeb is 28th in points.
Yikes.
28th. Good
That
God.
sucks. But most team wins here is Joe Gibbs Racing. They got 5, and Chevrolet is the leading manufacturer with 20 wins. So if you want to look for a winner, look for a bow tie. There will be a lot of them in the field. But Tom, we'll start off with you. Who you got for your winner for Saturday in Alabama?
He led a lot in Daytona. He led almost the whole thing in Atlanta. Then he ran out of gas. We're not going to have any gas issues here. And it's going to be the 2 car. Jesse Love. And I think this is just a hunch, but I think Austin Hill's going to have something to do with it on his rear bumper. I know Austin Hill's, you guys told me Austin Hill's not a good teammate. To play the teammate games, he will go for the win. But I think Austin Hill has learned from his ways of last year, and it's better to work together because then your teammate won't have some animosity with you at the end of the year if you help them get a win early.
There you go. Smart thinking, man.
He's
All right,
so
Nick.
that's still him like looking out for himself, but in a different way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
He's got enough level of that pettiness and saltiness in him from last year still, where he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna help the 2 car now if that dipshit Sheldon Creed
Yeah,
drive.
especially if he can push the 2 car past the 18 car. Oh, that'll be golden on Twitter.
Cinema, it'd be beautiful.
All right, Nick, who you got winning on Saturday?
I'm going to go with the guy who's had some success at Talladega before in the trucks. I'm going to go with the 48 car, Parker Klingerman. Parker has been very good here. He's got a couple wins here. at Talladega. And he's a very good speedway driver. And I just think it's his time. Like that team, it's just a second year with the big machine team. They're pretty consistent. And it's just time to go get that win. And what better place to do it than Talladega, a track that he runs really well at. So give me Parker Klingerman, and that would be a fan favorite win too. So I'd
Oh
love
yeah.
to see that.
Oh yeah, I think everybody would love to see a Kligerman win. But I'm gonna go for a guy he's been running with some back markers for the past few years. He's running with DGM Racing. I gotta go with Kyle Weatherman. He's really been making a name for himself this past year and a half. Been running better and better as the weeks go on. And I'm really excited to see how he's gonna run at Talladega. Guys, we know this track. It'll either take skill or some really good luck to go and win this race and end up front. I think the Xfinity Series, they've had a pretty clean slate for the past few weeks, but I think that all comes to a close as they go to Alabama. And I think that Kyle Weatherman is going to become victorious.
Mm.
And it's just going to be
Yeah, why
one of
not?
those wacky Talladega wins for one of the underdogs that you just love to see.
And last time we had a wacky Talladega win, it ruined a
Mm.
guy's career.
Yeah.
So hope Kyle Weatherman survives your prediction there.
I hope so, man.
But I
All
guess I
right,
have a
guys.
question for you guys then about this one. Who needs to survive and who needs to run well in this one? Yeah, maybe they won't win, but somebody who needs to turn all laps and get
I
a pretty
got
good finish.
one name for you, and his
Mhm.
name is Brandon fucking Jones. This guy,
Oh,
ever since he stepped into the 9 car at Junior Motorsports, he has been a
mhm.
laughing stock, getting outrun by his teammates. His teammate just won this past weekend at Texas Motor Speedway, and he was just way off. He was running top 15. His teammates were top 5 basically throughout the race. And Brandon Jones, he just needs to pick it up. This is a track, again, it's a wild card. He can go and get it done. But again, this place, there's a lot of wrecks. And what have we seen Brandon Jones in a lot the past year and a half? A lot of wrecks.
His whole career. His
So
whole career.
yeah, his whole career, man. So I
And
For
I
that's
do
me,
not want
that's
to see him, but he is a guy that really, this is a make or break weekend for him if he really wants to have himself a
mhm.
decent season.
And we see teamwork come into play with these drafting races a lot, but we've also seen junior motorsports kind of implode towards the end of these races too. So
Mm-hmm.
that's interesting. And if they can survive and actually work together at the end, I think all 4 of those cars could hypothetically get a really good finish this weekend.
no, why not?
Yeah.
For me, it's the 18. It's Sheldon Creed.
Hmm.
Ever since Sheldon made this jump over to Gibbs, he's been the bottom guy. His teammates are out there competing for wins, and he's sitting there running
Even those
13th.
part-time
So
guys.
even those part-time guys are getting up there competing for wins, and he's either out of the race or he's running 13th. So he's not in total danger mode yet. He still drives
Hmm.
a Joe Gibbs Supra. Like the car is going to
Yeah.
be fast,
Yeah.
and at some point, I do think he's going to get this down. But right now, man, he's just every single week he is the bottom guy at Gibbs, and that is just something I really didn't expect, to be honest with you. I thought he would take that. He had some burning fire in his heart from how things ended at RCR. I was just expecting him to go out and not go out and win right away, but just go out and run competitive, run fast, run top
Well,
5.
he
But
may have that in his heart, but like for me watching Sheldon Creed, it's always just been like he's missing something.
yeah,
Every weekend, it's like, yeah, he can run in the top 5, but he can't run in the top 3. Oh, he can run in the top
no,
3, but he can't win a race.
yeah,
And that's what's tough with me watching Sheldon Creed. And like you said, we got those part-time guys coming in there running equally or better than him.
yeah.
And again, like Chandler Smith
Yeah.
was also not with
Oh,
Joe
he's
Gibbs Racing
he's
this
light
year.
years,
And
light
Yep.
years
he's
ahead of
leading the
him.
points. And again, you can't even compare. That's comparing apples to apples at this point. 2 guys, brand new, full time into this race team.
Yeah.
One is running really well, and one is 10th in points.
Yeah, I mean, both came from situations where,
Hmm.
I mean, we know the college story, their Xfinity program, their just entire program has not
Yeah.
been up to par recently. And look at Chandler Smith now. He steps
Mhm.
into a good
But
seat
Chandler
and
Smith was
he's
still
going
winning
out
with
there.
colleague.
Yeah, he got the one win with the college, but now he steps into this seat and now he's running top 3 every week and he's got 2 wins on the season. As
Mhm.
to where Sheldon Creed, we're running 13th to 15th in a Gibbs car while you got a part timer like a Taylor Gray or something like that going up there running third. So I don't know. It's
And
not
again,
panic
it's
mode yet.
Sheldon Creed's coming from
Yeah,
maybe slightly less good equipment, but still really good equipment. And
Hmm.
I
you
mean,
watch him and something's missing there.
Yeah,
something's missing, and that's just kind of been
Mhm.
his story since he's come up to the Xfinity Series. Is something's just not clicking. You want to see the guy do well, but I'm just running. I'm running out. He's running out of excuses. Like it's time
For
to
sure.
go get it done. Get it done. Like I don't want to hear shit from you. Go out there and get it done.
For
totally
me,
agree.
I may be just biased to watching him win at Chicago, but I'm just so curious about how Shane adapts to all these different tracks.
Yeah.
So that's one guy I'll just be keeping an eye on. I mean, he kind of learned some things at Daytona, and you wonder how he's going to apply what he learned at Daytona to what he learned here. I mean, he got kind of run over from the back at Daytona, so maybe he didn't have all that he had. And then the other guy I want to watch just for fun, Ryan Sieg.
Yep.
See how he responds after finishing a very, very close second at Texas, and see if he can continue. Again, this is another track where you wouldn't even expect Ryan Sieg to run well at Texas, maybe, but you could definitely see one of these lower teams, these less budgeted teams, come out and win. And so again, look at the positive, like I said in last episode, and carry that momentum. You finish second, go out and you just got to pass one more guy, right? It's that easy.
Yeah. I
Right.
think for SVG, I think the goal bring the car home in one piece. Learn as much as you can. Bring the car
Do
home
all
in
the
one piece.
laps. That's what we say with
This
all
is
the rookies. And it doesn't matter that he's 37 years old. You got to turn all the laps to
I,
learn.
turn all the
Yep.
laps, and I mean, even comparing to this is a totally different beast than it is to Daytona. It's just so much wider. Like the runs are going to be coming from everywhere. So yeah, I'd be very interested to see how he performs on Saturday. But yeah, just run all the laps.
Totally agree with you guys. So let's move over to Sunday's race. We got the Geico 500 miles, 188 laps. Stages 1 and 2 will be 60 laps each, and the final will be 68 laps. Most wins by a driver here in the spring race is Mr. Brad Keselowski, and we know how hungry
Mm.
he is to
Mm.
break that winless streak. So make sure to keep an eye on him. Most team wins here, Hendrick Motorsports, they got 8. They just came off of a win at Texas Motor Speedway with Chase Elliott. We know he's also really damn good here as well. And Chevrolet, they got 22 wins here at Talladega. So it is going to be one hell of a race between all the manufacturers, I think. Our most previous winner here in the spring was Kyle Busch, and Ryan Blaney won it in the fall. So, guys, we got a hell of a race weekend coming up. First race of the year at Talladega. It's going to be our preview for that playoff race coming here in October. So, guys, I'll have to ask you, Nick, who do you got winning on Sunday for the Geico 500?
Well, I'm gonna go with the guy that you mentioned. He's got the most spring wins here, and in fact, his last Cup Series win came here in the spring. What was it? Spring of 21. It's his time. He's due. We've talked about this for so long. When is he going to get it done? When is he get it done? It finally happens this weekend. Brad Keselowski is going to return to victory lane here at Talladega. He's been so close. Like his first year of RFK, that was we didn't expect anything from him. But then last year they started putting some good runs together. He had a couple runner ups. He ran really well. But this is just a track. Brad Keselowski is one of the best at the super speedways when he's not running somebody over. So if he can stay away
Uh,
from doing that, he's very good here. He knows how to get it done, and it's time for the winless streak to come to an end. And it pains my heart to say that as much as I don't want the curse of the 6 car to come to an end, it will this weekend because Keselowski's going to victory lane.
I feel like that would be a very popular win for a guy that hasn't always been the most popular.
Right.
I just feel like the fans, as these guys get closer and closer to the ends of their careers, and as those win streaks get, or those losing streaks get bigger and bigger, you're like, oh man, it's cool that he got one more. Like that was just even I might feel a little bit of that tinge in my heart, even though what all that
Yeah.
Brad Keselowski did to me and my brain from like 2010 to 2015, like again, I'd be like, oh okay, cool, Brad got a win under his own race team banner.
Yep. Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Be
Just
fun.
for him being a driver owner, him doing it, that would be pretty damn
And
cool.
we know that shop is capable of putting out winning cars because they've put out what, 4 Chris Buescher wins now, 3 or 4.
Yeah,
So like, and Brad Keselowski is, it's been
so
weird
fun.
because they're always right there. They're always running right next
Yeah.
to each other. They're so locked into each other, and they just got to flip them around one of these times.
Yep. Agreed. So Tom, who you got winning on Sunday?
We've seen this story develop throughout the whole season. We're a quarter of the way in, and it has been Joe Gibbs and Rick Hendrick. They're the only teams that have won this year besides the Atlanta race. So it is time, and again, none of those guys drive Fords. It is time for Ford to show up, and they have a new body. You'd think they'd have to figure out a gain somewhere, and it's got to be at these super speedways. I mean, Blaney was that close to winning Atlanta. I honestly don't remember if Ford was close in Daytona, but that was a wreck fest too. But it's time for Ford to show up, and right now the best Ford in the field is Ryan Blaney. We just watched him win in the fall. He knows how to get it done. I still think that brilliant move of holding Byron back so he couldn't get clear of Harvick was the ultimate winning goal. He's so smart around these races and around this racetrack. That's why we see him win here so much. And so Ryan Blaney will get Ford's first win of the season.
All right,
Yeah.
not a bad pick. Yeah, guy's just fucking good here.
Mm-hmm.
He's won like what 3 races here with a photo finish.
He's just a good guy in general, and I can't believe
Yep.
he's making me like a Penske driver.
Who would have thought, Tom?
Maybe I'm just becoming an old softy.
Alrighty, well, for my driver, I got to go for a guy. He's been real close at these super speedways. Had his heart broken in Atlanta a few years ago. He's been the talk of the town with his teammates kind of running better than him, and I think it's time for him to shut up the haters. Let's go, Corey LaJoy. We know that he is a baller at these super speedways, and I think it's his time to show up and just go to victory lane. It's his time.
He has teammates, and he has a team that will now let him actually run the car.
Yep.
I mean, for years, Spire Motorsports was like, all right, you can't push it too hard. Maybe sometimes you can push it at the super speedway. But now he's got 2 other teammates behind him. And again, Carson Hocevar is just coming off a top 10 finish. He's confident. And Carson Hocevar outruns his equipment. We've talked that on this show too. And I honestly think that would be a strong pick. Also, a popular win.
Yeah,
if it
absolutely. Happens. Yeah. Kind of hard to find people that will hate that guy, you know?
No, yeah. I mean,
well,
unless...
Nick, I don't know. But
You
sure.
always got me. You always got me to deal with.
Go ahead and hate a guy that donates shoes to kids that can't afford them. Sure.
I don't. I wouldn't say
what do you
I
have
hate
against
him.
Corey LaJoy?
I just think he's overrated. Everybody says Corey LaJoy, Corey LaJoy, Corey
How
LaJoy.
can you be overrated running for one of the worst teams in the series?
Because
the bar is so low. How can you be overrated?
It took Carson Hocevar 1 race in that Spire car to run better than Corey LaJoy did, and so yeah, that's where I'm at. And I don't know. I just think the guy's overrated, and nothing terrifies me more than seeing Corey LaJoy coming out of turn 4 with 3 lanes of traffic coming at him. That's waiting for an 18 car pileup. That's just me.
Why I love NASCAR, man.
I mean, that's why we love Talladega too. It leans definitely hard into the entertainment aspect of our sport.
Yep.
If on the scale of entertainment versus sport, pure sport. So, but again, this is the time for a not a Hendrick car and a not a Joe Gibbs car to step up. But that doesn't mean that the Joe Gibbs and the Hendrick cars will not be ready to play on Sunday.
Right. They'll be coming
all
hard.
8 of those cars are probably equally as good a threat to win at these races. So,
agreed. Well, guys, I think that's a pretty good spot to end our Talladega preview. Anything else to add?
I like your shirt.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, let's see.
That's it. That's all I got.
Another driver to look out for this weekend, Bubba Wallace. We know that he kicks ass
for
here.
sure. And we see the trend of guys that get their first win at a track always seem to run well at said track. So
Absolutely.
Okay.
yeah, SVG's doing double duty, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Hey,
Yeah.
he's got the-
Shane
he's
Van
got the-
Gisbergen.
He's got the Frosty on Saturday and the fries on Sunday, according to the Instagram release that came out earlier in the week. But again, we talked about him running all the laps for Xfinity. Guess what? He's got the opportunity to run all the laps in the weekend. So hopefully he doesn't trip over that opportunity.
He is going to get the full taste of America this weekend when he steps foot down there in Talladega.
I mean, listen, you get in some of the backcountry of Australia, it could be pretty wacky.
Yeah.
I've never been to Australia. I know sometimes when we talk about Australia and Shane on this show, we get some fans.
Yeah.
We always do. Maybe you see us plugging Shane too much, but we seem to do better when we talk about it.
we really like Shane Van Gisbergen.
If somebody from Australia could tell us in the comments what the Alabama of Australia would be, just this bass backwards country, backwater town, because Shane's about to experience Talladega for the first time. Shane, if you're listening, Shane, avoid Titty Hill. It's not. It's not what it's promised in the name.
I just want some SVG Talladega Boulevard content.
Oh my goodness!
This is
Somebody,
all I want for this
if you
weekend.
guys are out on Talladega Boulevard and you see Shane, somebody follow him with a camera and whatnot. I just want to see him make weird faces at the atrocities and maybe war crimes he sees there.
Man.
Well, that's a great spot to end our show. Can't wait for cars to hit the track at Talladega this weekend. I wish I was there. My favorite track in the whole world. But guys, make sure to like our video, subscribe to our channel, make sure to check us out on Twitter and Instagram. And that'll do it for us. So for the Stock Car Spectacle, I'm Ian Jortson.
I'm the Kinzel.
And I'm Talladega Tom.
We'll see you guys next time.